What's up everyone? So it's been about a month now and I've driven the car for about 750 miles. Wanted to circle back and give my 1 month review on the car, some of my thoughts. Some of my opinions have changed since I've gotten the car and want to share that with you. So the first thing I want to talk about is the all-wheel drive system. One of the main reasons why I got this car is actually because I live in Rochester, Minnesota. There is a lot of snow here and I just needed something to get me around safely. The previous car I had was rear-wheel drive and it was horrendous. So for me, an all-wheel drive car was really important. And I have to say, out of all the cars I've driven thus far, Subaru definitely outperforms every single car I've driven. We've had probably about 2 or 3 snowstorms here in Rochester and there would be like a foot of snow outside. And this car literally just plows right through them. So it's pretty awesome. Something else as well is the safety portion of Subaru. I think one of the first things I've noticed is actually the windshield. As you can see, the first look of the windshield I got is that you get a lot more view. You know, it's awesome in the fact that I feel as though you see a lot more. And part of it is due to probably these being a lot smaller than other standard cars. So you feel like you have a great view and better awareness and peripheral vision as you're driving around. Just to complement that as well is the blind spot assistance. Both of your side mirrors on the left and the right will light up as cars come into closer proximity to your car. Originally, I didn't care so much about this, and I was actually a little annoyed when I first drove the car because it would come on and I feel like for no reason at all. But that's kind of changed. So like I said, there's been a couple snowstorms already. Visibility has been horrible. I've driven around at night when I'm a little bit more tired, when I probably shouldn't be driving. But the blind spot assist has really helped. It really increases your peripheral vision, increases your awareness, and I think overall it gives you a better and safer driving experience. So I really like it a lot. Something else that I really like about it is some of the apps. So I actually sat down with the Subaru guys for about an hour and they kind of walked me through some of the other things about the car that I didn't know about. And one of the things I really want them to tell me more was the infotainment system. So let me show you that. I'm gonna turn on my car right now. So for the infotainment system, let's see what we got. One of the things I really liked is the Travel Assist Link app. When you first buy the car, you get this for free for the first 4 months. Afterwards, I believe there's a monthly fee. I'm not sure how much it costs, but I thought this was really handy. May be useful to you if you like it. So one of the first things is the fuel prices. So it'll actually show you the nearest gas stations to you and how much the gas costs there. So I thought that was really cool. You can also change the location if you want to find other gas stations that are nearby. Some other things as well as sports. You can see I don't have any on here. I just haven't played around with this as much. But you can put your sports team in here to see the scores and what's going on in the sports world. Stocks, very similar thing. You can add your stocks. So if you want to monitor that while you're driving. I don't think sports or stocks is a very good idea while you're driving. The last piece here is the weather, which I thought is actually pretty useful. You can actually have the weather show up and it'll just tell you a little bit about the weather details. Currently, for the next 3 to 6 hours and for the next 5 days. I usually check this before I leave as well, but I thought it was pretty handy to have in your car. Fuel prices and weather, I really like this. Sports and stocks, probably not the best or safest to use while you're driving. Something else that I really liked is the AHA app. I really like this because I personally listen to a lot of audio podcasts when I'm driving. So it's really cool. It will just link up, and if you like any certain podcast, you pretty much can find it here. You can find feature nearby, things like that. I usually like to listen to the TED Talks. You can just select it, and there you go. You have a very productive morning while driving around. Another thing as well is the replay button. I thought this was really cool. I don't personally use it that often. You hit the replay, and basically it will play the song back for you. So I thought that was really cool. There's a lot of things you can do with this. You can enter in the station if you know it directly in there. I thought that was very useful. You can do your tune scanning. So all very cool. Something else with the phone, if your phone's connected to there's a lot of things you can do with the phone. You have your typical things, you know, favorites, recent, keypads, your phone book. You can even see your text messages on there, and then you can respond as well. So something else I want to talk about is actually the lock feature of the car. You can go ahead and just lock by pressing that button. So I thought that was really cool. And then when you want to unlock, you just go ahead and insert your hands in here and it'll unlock for you. The last major thing I like about the car is just the way it feels. More of that rally car feel. The sports trim has the sports tuned suspension. You feel the road a little bit more. Right before purchasing the Subaru, I was actually looking at the CLAs and actually test drove some of the 2017 CLA 250s, and the sports suspension feels very similar to that, and that's something that I really liked about the car. You get that nice rally car feel, and so it's just it's kind of a personal thing, but I really like that. Alright, so moving on to the cons, one of the things that I didn't like about the car, and it's actually one of the reasons why I purchased it, is the miles per gallon. Granted, the way I'm driving it is probably not very conducive to the miles per gallon. I very frequently tend to floor it, and I step on it too much based on how it's been fluctuating. So keep that in mind when I tell you this. It's probably a little lower than what it should be. The other thing is that my commute from work and home is only 4 miles. I don't really take the highway. A lot of stop signs, a lot of stoplights, and so that probably really contributes to the miles per gallon as well. So just keep that in mind. It's probably even lower because of that. But with that being said, I've driven the car for about 750 miles now, and my miles per gallon, as you can see, is about 22.9 or 23. It was actually hovering around 18 as I've been driving around locally. And when I started to add the highway, so I've driven to Minneapolis, which is about an hour and a half from here, it's bumped it from 18 to 23. It probably would be the advertised amount if my driving habits were a little better. The advertised miles per gallon on the website is 38 for highway and 27 or 28. I can't remember if it was 27 or 28 on the local roads. So a little lower. I think if I improve my driving habits and my commute wasn't as frequent of stops, probably could get close to 27. I don't know if it really would get there though, unless you consciously make an effort to. And lately I've been trying to. So that was a kind of a disappointment. The other thing that I really didn't like that I thought was really cool and excited about was one of the apps actually. Going back to the infotainment system, they have an app called the Subaru Starlink. One of the things about this that they told me about was the navigation app. So the car itself doesn't come with navigation, but one of the apps, Magellan, I guess it's part of their Subaru Starlink group of apps, is it gives you basically it's like an app on your phone. The Apple CarPlay and Android, if you have apps for navigation, that works as well. Otherwise, you can go ahead and use this, which is their own app. I've only used it once, and I am not a fan. Maybe it was just a really bad experience. I'm definitely gonna try it again. But I was doing a commute to somewhere in the cities, can't remember where, but it just constantly disconnected and reconnected. My girlfriend was in the car with me at the time, so I didn't really have to navigate as much. You see, like, it does things like this. It keeps on loading, and I have no idea what's going on. It just was not conducive to driving, and if I was driving by myself, that would not have been safe at all. So I don't like this app. Definitely gonna give it another try though, because I've only used it once, and by using it once, I just stopped halfway because it would not, it kept on doing this loading screen. So I don't know what's up with that. I looked at the app review on the App Store, and it is a horrible rating, which as of right now, I would agree with. So that's something I did not like. It does look cool though. If this did work as expected, I think that would be awesome. It just doesn't work right now. The other thing about the infotainment system is the fact that you get all these random pop-ups on the system while you're driving for random things, man. It loses signal, when you get alerts, notifications. I thought that was a little bit of a distraction and not that great for safety. There is an option you can turn it off though. Overall though, I'm pretty happy with the car itself. Again, the purpose of me buying it is because of safety reasons. I needed a car that was an all-wheel drive system that can get around snow. So if you're in any snowy condition, absolutely 100% recommend this car. It is fantastic. Definitely best all-wheel drive car I've ever driven. I really like it. I like the ride. I like everything about it. The only two reservations I'll say about this car is one, going back to the miles per gallon. If you were to get this car, just keep that in mind. I'd ask around to see what others are getting because I think I'm a little bit more of an aggressive driver. So the miles per gallon may not be accurately reflected. If you're really looking to buy a car for its miles per gallon advantages, do a little bit more research on the car and other people's experience before purchasing this car, if that truly is that important to you. The other thing is the apps. I looked at a lot at various reviews of the apps and they just got horrendous reviews. I'm not sure if it's just because I don't know how to use the apps. I'm still pretty new to it and I have to admit I haven't really tinkered around with the apps that much, but I would, ask around and see what other people think. So far my impression is not the best in terms of like the navigation app and some of the other things. It's just a little slow. The infotainment system, surprisingly, there's a little bit of a lag to it, maybe 1 to 2 seconds, sometimes 3, where when you press something and it's just not as responsive. I don't know if that's a big concern. I think those are just one of the nice to have things, not really a real reason you should buy a car. We buy a car because we're trying to get from point A to point B, right? So if that's all you're trying to do, the apps probably don't make a big difference to you. I already like it because it has podcasts on there. They work really well, so no issues there. But overall, I think if I were to rate this car in a 1 to 10 overall, I would definitely say like an 8 or 9. I love this car. It's fantastic and it keeps me safe. Hope that's helpful and I hope you all buy a Subaru as well. Until next time.